Good morning, everybody. How are you? Today is day 28 of the challenge. We're going to be doing arms, and it's going to be the mid-back series that we would normally do in the studio on the reformer, sitting on a box. These are the ones that you would sit in the box facing your pulleys and do your plow, your curls, your arms. Then you do side overhead, and then you turn around and with your back facing the pulleys, with your hands in the straps, of course, and do all of this work. So we don't have a reformer, we're at home improvising. And you have two options here to do all of this today. You can choose your flexi band. If you've got a flexi band that you can anchor somewhere about knee to mid upper leg height, and then get a chair or a little stool or a bench, that would be ideal. If you got a chair with no arms, even better, because then you can get the movement in your own arms without having the chair in the way. You can do this standing up with an anchor a little bit higher, perhaps a doorknob or something like that. If you don't have a flexi band, you do everything exactly as we're going to do it, holding your hand weights. Okay? You're just going to keep your movement very smooth and steady. So just two different ways to do this. The tension is either coming from holding those hand weights and working the arms with the weight, or using the weight driven from the tension of the flexi band. So you can choose whichever. I am going to probably start with the flexi band, and then I'll switch to weights, just really for ease of the video. If you're using a flexi band, you're going to have to change your anchor a little bit as you go through some of the various movements. So I'll cue you when you need to do that. We're going to get started with bicep curls. So either with your weights, down on the mat, down on your bench, or with your flexi band out in front of you. You'll start from sitting up nice and tall, then get a good breath. Exhale as you roll off the sit bones and pulling those lower abs to roll halfway back without letting the head drop back, remember. Pull the fists up to the shoulders, elbows at about shoulder height. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to curl. Lengthen with control. Don't let the flexi band whip you back. And 4, and 5, 6, we'll do 2 sets, 7, and 8, and 9, and on the last one, keep the fists at the shoulders. Round everything forward, keeping the belly button in tight. Get a nice big deep breath into the upper back and expand the back of the rib cage. And then stack the spine up nice and tall. Ready for round 2? Get a good breath. Exhale, tuck it under. Fist to the shoulders, elbows lifted. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. And 2. And 3. 4, keep those lower abs in. Shoulder blades down. And 6. And 7. 8 and 9. Keep the fists at the shoulders. Round everything forward. Another nice big deep breath into the upper back. And stack the spine up nice and tall. Tricep press. With your flexi bands or with your hand weights, you're going to keep the back fairly flat, but hinge a little bit forward from the hip. You're not rounding forward, letting the head drop, or letting the shoulders fall out. You're keeping fairly stable in your spine. Just hinge a little bit forward. Get a good breath and pull the elbows back and shoulder blades back. The elbows stay behind the body, abs in tight. Exhale, press it out behind you. Make sure your flexi band is not so tight that you cannot straighten that arm out behind you. If you could only get so far, ease off. You've got to get full range of motion because that's what Pilates is all about. Lengthening the muscle and strengthening the whole length of it, not just the belly. And call that 9 and 10, return and up. Let's get another set of triceps because they're good for us. Little bit of a hinge forward. Inhale to pull the elbows and shoulder blades back. Exhale to press and squeeze. And 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9 and 10. Oh, nicely done. 10 should make you really feel those if you've got the tension right with your flexi band and you're squeezing and getting full range of motion. All right, from here we're going to do plow. So again, if you're using a hand weight, your arms would be by your side, palms facing back. With the flexi band, just adjust. Alrighty, hands by your knees, you're going straight back, shoulder blades down, get a good breath, exhale, press, but don't let the body pitch forward. And 2, work your core and your back muscles as the tension from your press is going to challenge it. Your body's going to want to pitch forward, but don't let it. And 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Great stuff. Let's get another set. Those feel good. Get a good breath. Exhale, press, and return. And 2, and 3. Only go as far back as you can without the shoulders coming out of place. And 6, and 7, 8, and 9, and 10. Great stuff. We're going to raise the arms up overhead. You're going to try to keep the hands kind of about shoulder distance apart. You're keeping your shoulder blades down while you do this. If you got your hand weights, you're just going to lift up and return. With your flexi band, you may have to adjust because this can be a little bit more challenging. Get a good breath and up and return. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Hold those abs in. Keep the torso nice and still. 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Out to the side. 1. You don't have to go behind the shoulder. Just out to the side. 4 and 5. 6, 7, and 8, and 9. I'm not sitting exactly square to you, so make sure you're not going behind the shoulder. Circles. Up, out, and back, and up, out, and back. 5 in each direction, and back, and back. 5, out, and back. Reverse. Out, up, return. 2, up, and return. 3, up, return, and 4, and 5, and return. Great stuff. Roll those shoulders out. We're going to do the side overhead and tricep press. Again, you're used to doing this on the reformer, sitting on the box, or perhaps kneeling. With your flexi band, if you're using that, you'll turn sideways to it. Just check it out to make sure it's the tension that you want for these exercises. If you're using a hand weight, you'll do exactly as I'm going to cue you. Just be careful. This is 3 pounds. 2 pounds actually would be better for this, because when you're reaching overhead here, as you extend that weight into a longer lever, it applies a lot more pressure on the shoulder. So you want to be very careful to assess as you do that. And if it doesn't feel good, drop down to a lighter weight or grab a flexi band. I'm going to use a flexi band for 1 round, but of course we've got to do the other side, and that would mean I'd have my back to you. So I'm just going to grab a hand weight and do the other side facing you so that I can continue to cue you. Alrighty. When you're doing your side bend, it's not a lean of the whole body. You do not want this sit bone to come off your surface, your chair, the mat, whatever you're working on. You're just doing a side bend and bringing this rib down to this hip bone while you reach overhead. As you reach overhead, it's not a crescent moon. You're lengthening and trying to press that arm out. The arm doesn't touch the head. You ready? Stop sign arm as I say. Get a good breath. Exhale, side bend, reach, return with control. And 2, adjust your tension if you need to. And 3, and return. Don't let this sit bone leave the surface. And 5, and return. And 6, nice stuff guys. And 7, don't go too fast. And 8, and 9, and 10. Good stuff. Tricep press. Holding your flexi band. Hand and elbow up near shoulder height, but not so high that you're going to hike that shoulder up. Try to keep your wrist nice and neutral throughout. You might want to feel it out once, make sure you can get to full range of motion. I'll come back into view here. If not, adjust. Get a good breath. Exhale, elbow, fist. Hold, keeping the elbow back, return. 2, if you're holding a hand weight, just keep your form. Having to hold that weight up in the air while you do this is going to give you just as much work on that arm. 5, press, back and return. And 6, reach, don't break the line of the wrist. 7, press. And 8, reach. And 9, press. And 10, reach. Good stuff. Those of you with a flexi band, turn around. You'll face the other way, unless you want to hook it to something on the other side. I'm going to do the other arm again with the weight. Ready? Get a good breath. Exhale, side bend. Lengthen, return with control. And 2, and out. And 3, press it up. And 4, don't let the sit bone leave the mat. And 5, and return. 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Good stuff. Other arm for tricep press. Holding my weight in front of me, squaring my shoulders. Don't let your torso turn. Elbow, fist, hold and back. 2, and reach. Hold and back. And 3, press it out. And back. And 4, are you sitting up nice and tall? Are your abs in tight? 5, press. Back and 6, lengthen. And back. And 7, full range of motion. And 8, press. And 9, press it out. 1 more. And 10, and reach back and return. Good. Holding a hand weight while you're doing this is also great for your shoulder cap, not just your tricep. So it's a great option. All right, if you're using a flexi band, you are now going to turn around with your back to the anchor. And just adjust this here. And then we're going to do this series, okay? We'll start with plow, then we'll do open arms, then we'll do offering. I am going to be facing you with the hand weight just so you can see my movement. But everything else, the cues are all exactly the same if you're using that flexi band. Just make sure that when you're using the flexi band, just check out your tension first to make sure that it's enough of a challenge for you. You're going to go nice and easy. I've got my weights. Turn my little bench around here. Alrighty. This is all about stabilization of the scapula. So as you're raising your hands to about shoulder height, do not let them hike up. If you have a shoulder issue going on, you may not want to go quite as high as the shoulder. Just keep it a little bit lower as opposed to up here. Don't lock your arms. You want to keep the elbows just a little bit soft. Alrighty. Palms facing forward, shoulder blades down, sitting up nice and tall, abs in tight, get a breath, and reach and return with control. We're going to 10, 2, and 3, and back, and 4, and 5, and 6. These add up quite a bit, so 7. If it gets really hard, just reduce your reps or reduce the weight. Stay up here, turn the palms to face each other. Open out, elbows do not go behind the body, and in and back. Big hugs. 2, and back, and 3. Going to 10, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Offering. Elbows into the waist as you bend the arms. Forward, big hug, and back. Elbows in, forward, open out, and back. We'll go to 10, 3, and forward, open out, and back, and 4, forward, open out, and back, and 5, forward, open out, and back, and 6, forward, open, back, and 7, forward, open, and back, and 8, and open, and back. 2 more, 9, forward. Can you feel the work? And last one, and open out, back, and return. Roll those shoulders out. Nicely done, guys. So it's a short series, but they work everything around your shoulder girdle. And if your tension is as much of a challenge that you can handle while still keeping full range of motion, you get a great workout. You're going to feel it. So roll them out. Give your shoulders a nice little stretch. Either side. Give yourself a tricep stretch. Either side. And very nicely done. Great little arm set. All right, good luck with that one. See you tomorrow.